Jai Saparikar Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajakacharya Astatar Sata Sri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajakacharya Astatar Sata Sri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission morning class. Dandavat. Or morning reading. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganal Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Haribol. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now we're beginning the first volume of the Adi Lila and the first chapter and the first verse. What an amazing study! And this chapter is called the Spiritual Masters. So this is the very first principle of spiritual life, and something to be understood very, very carefully. Haribol. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu is none other than the combined form of Sri Radha and Krishna. That's the first line. The very first line of the Chaitanya Charitamrita given by Srila Prabhupada. This is coming to the Western countries, just starting out with this full information. He is the life of those devotees who strictly follow in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami are the two principal followers of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, who acted as the most confidential servitor of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Maha Prabhu, known as Vishwambar in his early life. Got that? Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna combined. Srila Rupa, and he is the life of the followers of Rupa Goswami. Rupa and Sanatana are the most devoted, dear disciples, I don't remember how it was written exactly, of Swarup Damodar, who was the most confidential servitor of the Lord.
Wait, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami were the most
devoted servitors of
Swarup Damodar.
Yeah, who is the most confidential servitor of Mahaprabhu.
How about Ramananda Roy?
Well, that's also there, but this is what's being mentioned here. Okay, Ramananda Roy is in a different position than Rupa and Sanatana. A direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami was Raghunath Das Goswami. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, stands as the direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Okay? So, Raghunath Das Goswami was the direct disciple, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj composer of this book, was the direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. Who? Raghunath Das Goswami. He's the disciple of Rupa Goswami. So here, I'll just read this again. So this is so much information in the first introductory paragraph of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's good. We'll make this very clear in our mind. A direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami was Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, stands as the direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami.
So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami and disciple of
Raghunath Das Goswami. Right, so just like in the modern times, we are a direct disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj, who's the disciple of Guru Maharaj. Well, we're disciples of both of them. The direct disciple of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj was Srila Narottam Das Thakur.
The direct disciple of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, Narottam Das
Thakur. Very good. Who accepted Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti as his servitor. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur accepted Srila Jagannath Das Babaji, the spiritual master of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who in turn accepted Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji, the spiritual master of Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, the divine master of our humble self. Since we belong to this chain of disciplic succession from Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu, this edition of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita will contain nothing newly manufactured by our tiny brains, but only remnants of food originally eaten by the Lord himself. Lord Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu does not belong to the mundane plane of the three qualitative modes. He belongs to the transcendental plane, beyond the reach of the imperfect sense perception of a living being. Even the most erudite mundane scholar cannot approach the transcendental plane unless he submits himself to transcendental sound with a receptive mood. For in that mood only can one realize the message of Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu. Is that good? There's no other way. It's only by submission to this sound can we understand anything about this subject matter. That is how it's coming to us. What will be described herein, therefore, has nothing to do with the experimental thoughts created by speculative habits of inert minds. Inert, almost dead, and just creating all kinds of nonsense thoughts. The subject matter of this book is not a mental concoction, but a factual spiritual experience that one can realize only by accepting the line of disciplic succession described above. Then there will be experience. Any deviation from that line will bewilder the reader's understanding of the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a transcendental literature meant for the postgraduate study of one who has realized the Vedic literatures, such as the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, and their natural commentaries, such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. This edition of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is presented for the study of sincere scholars who are really seeking the absolute truth. It is not the arrogant scholarship of a mental speculator, but a sincere effort to serve the order of a superior authority whose service is the life and soul of this humble effort. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, he's saying his humble effort of presenting Chaitanya Charitamrita is only in the service of his Guru. And therefore it is transcendentally potent. It's not some spurious thing I've decided, that someone may decide to do on their own. It does not deviate even slightly from the revealed scriptures, and therefore anyone who follows in the disciplic line will be able to realize the essence of this book simply by the method of oral reception. This is a really fine point.
Oral reception?
Oral means hearing. What is audible, that comes from that word. So the sound, the divine sound, has to come in that mood. It has to come in, it is descending in this mood from guru to guru, and it must be received in that mood. Otherwise we will not have it. We will not be able to come to any reality through non-reality. And that is coming down through this instruction. Right? You can stand up if you need. The first chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita begins with 14 Sanskrit verses that describe the absolute truth. Okay? What does it begin with?
Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna combined.
Right, that was the first paragraph. Now this paragraph is saying the first chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita begins with 14 Sanskrit verses. Because we haven't even begun verse 1 yet. This is the introduction. So this is important. There's a real structure here in the Adi Lila. There are 14 Sanskrit verses, and the rest of it is describing each verse one after another. It's very good to understand. The first chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita begins with 14 Sanskrit verses that describe the absolute truth. And I'm going to ask you, the next 3 Sanskrit verses describe the principal deities of Vrindavan, namely Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Radha Govindadev, and Sri Radha Gopinath Ji. The first of the 14 verses is a symbolic representation of the supreme truth, and the entire first chapter is in actuality devoted to this single verse, which describes Lord Chaitanya in his 6 different transcendental expansions. I'll just read that again. This is all very condensed. The first of the 14 verses, right? The 14 Sanskrit verses, which are the first 14 verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The first of those is a symbolic representation of the supreme truth, which means it is non-different. It is showing the absolute truth fully, but in a verse. So the absolute truth means that verse is also that. So, and the entire first chapter is actually devoted to this single verse, which describes Lord Chaitanya in his 6 different transcendental expansions. All right, ready for the next paragraph?
That was the first paragraph.
No, this is, now we're on the, I've read how many paragraphs now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to the 6th paragraph of the introduction. See how bold Srila Prabhupada was? Just, there wasn't any, well, the thing is, the Supreme, he's like, and he could throw that into your consciousness. The first manifestation described is the spiritual master, who appears in two plenary parts, called the initiating spiritual master and the instructing spiritual master. Who are the two forms of spiritual master? Diksha and Shiksha. Exactly. They are identical because both of them are phenomenal manifestations of the Supreme Truth. The Supreme Truth is coming in this form of Diksha and Shiksha Guru. Next described are the devotees. So first the spiritual master, then the devotees, who are divided into two classes, namely the apprentices, like us, if we can say that, and the graduates.
Like Srila Govinda Maharaj.
Yeah. Those who have... Srila Govinda Maharaj is a descending personality. But there are those who have become perfect in devotional life through the sadhana of surrender and so many Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, full surrender, hearing submissively, practicing Trinadapisya, and come to the plane of full devotional life. Next are the incarnations. So, right, the Lord, the Guru, the spiritual master, the spiritual master, and then the devotees. Sorry, I'm getting my paragraphs mixed up. Then the third one is the incarnations, the avatars of the Lord, who are explained to be non-different from the Lord. These incarnations are considered in three divisions: incarnations of the potency of the Lord, incarnations of his qualities, guna avatars, so Shaktivesh avatar, guna avatar, the incarnations of his authority. Excuse me. In this connection, Lord Sri Krishna's direct manifestations and his manifestations for the transcendental pastimes are discussed. Next considered are the potencies of the Lord, of which three principal manifestations are described: the consorts in the kingdom of God Vaikuntha, the queens of Dwarkadam, and highest of all, the damsels of Brajabhumi. So the potency means Shakti.
It's energy, right?
Yeah, but it is Shakti, meaning the divine Shakti. So the Shakti means the consort. So there are the Lakshmi Devis of Vaikuntha, then the queens of Dwarka, and then of course the Braja Gopis.
That's what it means, Shakti. Not only potency, but also consort.
Yeah, that's generally what it means. So in the beginning, we can understand, we are, trying to approach the understanding that Vasudeva is everything. There is nothing outside of Krishna. There's not this thing that I'm going to enjoy that is not Krishna's, a manifestation of Krishna and for Krishna. When we see something that is not that, that's called illusion. It's not truth. So then we begin to see Krishna as everything. But beyond that is Krishna with his potency, with his Shakti, which means Lakshmi Narayan, and so on. Finally, there is the Supreme Lord himself, who is the fountainhead of all of these manifestations. Lord Sri Krishna and his plenary expansions are all in the category of the Lord himself, the energetic absolute truth, where his devotees, his external associates, are his energies. The energy and the energetic are fundamentally one, But since their functions are differently exhibited, they are simultaneously different also. Thus, the Absolute Truth is manifested in diversity in one unit. This philosophical truth, which is pursuant to the Vedanta Sutra, is called achintya, bheda-abheda tattva, or the conception of simultaneous oneness and difference. So Vasudeva Sarvamiti, and yet everything in all of animation is existing to serve the Lord. So there's two, one and two. That is Shakti and Shaktiman. The owner of the Shakti and the Shakti.
The energy and the energy.
Huh?
The energy and the energy.
Yes, precisely. In the latter portion of this chapter, the transcendental position of Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu is that of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And that of Srila Nityananda Prabhu are described with reference to the above theistic facts. Haribol, what an introduction. Text number 1. Vande Guru Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Taprakancha Tatprakashang Tat. Oh, I don't know, I can't read this. Tatprakangsang Chatat Chakti Krishna Chaitanya Samgyakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, His plenary portions, His energies, and the primeval Lord Himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Pande Guru Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Taprakashang Chatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. Text number 2. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditao Gaudodaye Pushpavantao Chitra Sandao Tamonudao. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Yadadvaitam brahmopanishadi tad apyasya tanuba sa atmanta jami purusha iti so shangsha vibhava sad aishvaryai purnoya iha Bhagavan sa swayam mayang na chaitanya krishna's jagati padatattvam paramiha. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. And the Lord, known as the Supersoul, is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Did you catch all that?
Krishna? I tried to.
So, what the Upanishads describe is as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. And everything here in Chaitanya Charitamrita is completely authoritative. It is all backed by scripture. Then there are things which are beyond scripture. But that is the fundamental thing has to be understood first. And then one can see that by the grace of divine sound. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. What is that?
The impersonal Brahman. The effulgence of the Lord's body.
Okay, so when Sukadeva Goswami was sitting in front of all those sages and instructing Parikshit Maharaj, most of them, universal sages, they weren't only from earth, they came from all over the universe. Most of them were seeking this impersonal Brahman. That's what they thought was the ultimate goal of life. So this statement is very significant. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. Number 2, the Lord, known as the Super Soul, is but his localized plenary portion. And the yogis are seeking Paramatma. Very few of them can reach that.
Didi, could you please explain us what is essentially the difference between Paramatma realization and Brahman realization in terms of achieving the goal? Some souls are seeking to becoming one with Brahman effulgence, and then what is that they're trying to achieve, the yogis, about Paramatma realization?
I mean, I don't know that process. I haven't studied much about that. But they are engaged in meditation, and they are trying to connect through this type of meditation, which is not very understandable by me. Those very few can, by the dint of their purified hearts, come into the darshan of the Super Soul in the heart. But that is, I don't know. The process of gyan is what leads to impersonal realization.
Through meditation too, right?
No, it's not the same.
Not the same?
No, it's more of an intellectual thing.
Oh.
It's like not this, not this, not this, not this, not that, not that, not that. That's not absolute. That's relative. That's not, getting rid of everything and coming to the position of non-material. But not coming to the divine plane.
So the yogis...
There is a plane like that. That's where we come from. We come from that. We have never been in the divine plane.
So the yogis trying to achieve Paramatma realization, they know that there is a Supreme Lord.
I don't know particularly what they know. I'm not that, I haven't looked into the details of that. But there is some description of that even in the Gita. That's pretty much all we really need to know about that. That process is very difficult. You could say impossible.
So would that be mukti too? Like the Paramatma realization, would that be mukti? Renunciation?
It's something in between. It's above the Brahman realization. Yeah. It's definitely above Brahman realization. It's coming to the form of the Lord. There's a Lord, he's a person, and he has a form. That is a much higher realization. Paramatma. So he's known in 3 phases. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the source of Paramatma. And simply by dint of thousands and thousands of years of meditation, if one's purified heart can come to the Lord will show his Paramatma form to that person. He doesn't, by dint of that, know about Krishna as the source of Paramatma. That is another thing. That is through bhakti and only through bhakti. Is that helpful? I mean,
It's making me feel more curious because Buddhists, for example, they're trying to reach the Brahman realization. Right?
Not exactly. So the biraja, or the watery substance, which is the can we say? So you could say that Brahman realization has two shores. You could say like a river has two banks, this bank and that bank. The lower bank is nirvana. It's still in relation to mundanity, and the upper is the nirvishesh Brahman platform. It's a higher. It's more free from any mundanity, but it doesn't have a transcendental experience. So it is that person in that nirvishesh Brahman can still come back to this mundane world. He will not go beyond there, except for by dint of something else. In the case of the yogis, to come to Paramatma realization, and in the case of the devotees, to go far beyond Paramatma realization. Paramatma realization is Vasudeva. Vasudeva realization. Beyond that is the Shakti. Vasudeva has no Shakti. Vasudeva is the all-pervading Lord. Do you follow? But we don't know anything by dint of understanding that without, we're so fortunate that we hear about this from kinder, as soon as you walk in the door of a Vaishnava temple, you have all this knowledge. But by dint of Paramatma realization, one will not come to Bhagavan realization. That must be given by a Vaishnava. A member of that land must be, but he is coming as the representative of the land. He can give that. And that is Guru. But that's not the position of the yogis who attain to Paramatma realization. So there's that gradation, and it's given that very clearly. That Brahman realization, Paramatma realization is much higher. There is a person who is God.
The super soul.
He can, and it is still not exactly full understanding at all, but above that is Bhagavan realization.
Thank you, Didi, so much.
In terms of the particulars of that practice or anything, it is not even a practice which is beginning to be possible in this age. What is generally that yoga system by which one can come to realization of Paramatma? It takes thousands of millions of years to do that. Pantastikoti shata. Really, it's a tremendous amount of time. Very difficult practice. And we don't really need to, manage that, because by devotion, all of these things will be understood gradually. That's all included in devotion. It's all included in Bhagavan realization, which means Shakti. We're approaching Shakti. We're approaching the devotional plane. Hare Krishna. Hare means Hara. It means Radharani. So Vasudeva realization or Paramatma realization does not include Shakti. It does not come to the plane of devotion.
Would you say that because of the mercy of Mahaprabhu, it's easier for us to go far beyond Paramatma realization than trying to achieve Brahman realization and Paramatma realization themselves?
Yeah. If you have a small pond, all the purposes of a small pond will be served by a great lake. There's no reason to worry about that. Many small ponds can be within a big lake. So we are not concerned with all the intermediate things, although those will come. Those understandings will be clear by dint of devotion. They're all included. There's nothing not included. And what Mahaprabhu came to give is Mool Rasa, the original rasa, which includes all the other rasas. For example, Vatsalya rasa does not include Madhura rasa, but Madhura rasa includes Vatsalya rasa. So what Mahaprabhu came to give, it can't even be conceived of. That is all included. Everything is included. And we are going gradually. We are progressing gradually. But that practice is encompassing everything else. It is the goal. What do you think, Ananya, about this important information? Hari Om. All right. Any other questions? I mean, this is all stuff that we're going to understand more and more clearly in time, as Srila Prabhupada says in the introduction. Through divine sound, all these things can be realized through submissive divine to divine sound. You look very doubtful. What's going on? Oh, shoot. Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Not about the process, but about my position in relation to the process. Before meeting the devotees and being presented this beautiful prospect of life, I was really trying to keep up with my mundane goals.
With your what? Mundane goals, yeah.
This is such an inconceivable goal.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like, is it too much for my capacity?
Of course.
I don't even understand what I have in front of me.
So what? If somebody says, look here, I've got a boat and we're going to cross the ocean. Say, well, I don't know. I don't have a capacity to cross the ocean. You've got a boat. Don't worry about that. It has nothing to do with our capacity. The boat of the holy lotus feet of our Guru is making the ocean as small as the water in the hoof print of a calf. We don't have to go through all these different things. Maya is Maya. By dint of the holy name, if we can chant without offense, all these things are going to be understood to be very insignificant.
I'm just afraid to, because of my misconception, start seeing things negatively in a judgmental way, like becoming spiritually proud.
Well, then stop.
Like,
No, I understand that.
Those people, how they're doing things. Like,
I understand that. I know we all have trouble with that, especially and Srila Prabhupada. Because we want to detach ourselves from mundane association. Jnana Sangha and Sangha Tyaga. Double advice. Yeah. That does not mean that we are superior. It means our gurus are superior and we are taking shelter of them. That's it. That is the whole picture. And seeing it that way will give us compassion. But that compassion must be backed by our guru's compassion and not my individual compassion, which is mixed up with all sorts of mundane exploitation. In the name of compassion, I'm going to have mundane association with so many people. We want to share what it is that is so superior to mundane life. But I'm a student. I'm not that big, great thing. But in my own interest, I will not be with this thing. It is bad for my progress. But if I meet someone who has some interest, then I want to share that, in as much as that is the subject. Everything outside of that will be something else. So we're not dumb. We might want to fool ourselves, but we don't have to.
Yeah. And how about, and I know that we're supposed to read about can I ask one more question?
Sure.
The advice of Mahaprabhu is to remember Krishna, chant the names of Krishna, and talk to others about Krishna, or something like that. I'm sorry. But how about when we are we're not that qualified to speak all the time generally about Krishna? Because a Vaishnava, that's all that he wants to do, right? Only Krishna Katha. But how about us?
Do what is wholesome. Just use your discretion. Do what is wholesome. You need to get some exercise. You want to go and play basketball? Okay, but don't go home with them. Just play basketball. Yeah, I'm a devotee. Yeah, we have this place around the corner. It's really great. It's like, devotional yoga. It's super fun. Lots of beautiful music. It's really ancient books. And yeah, come over. Yeah, my name's this and that. Come on over. Yeah. Then we can go to the park after or whatever. But be wholesome and don't kid yourself. What is not wholesome is not wholesome.
So that will be my question. Like, for example, sometimes I want to talk about technology or economy or any topic.
Okay, just bring it around to who you are. Not just the subject, but who is speaking. You're a person. They're going to want you to know all about them or associate with them. And you are also to do that. Who are you? Is that all you are? Is technology information? So be who you are. Don't hide. You are a person. And you have a great gift. Why hide that from your so-called friends? In the name of friendship. That is unwholesome. It's not a healthy life.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you can talk about many things. But who's talking? If we want to be exploited and we want to exploit, then we will forget that I'm a soul. That's the whole problem that we've come into in the world.
And that's so easy.
So easy. Because of exploitation, not friendship. They're saying friendship in this world is a colossal hoax.
Yeah, how to not freak out about this? Like, oh my God, I'm exploiting the environment.
Just you'll learn your lessons. Krishna is very clever. We come into the environment to exploit and we come back with a slap. Only this time, recognize where the slap is coming from and not just like bobbing and weaving like a street thug. take it on the chin and learn. Haribol. We've got our guardian. Feel light. Be light. Jai Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki Jai. Jai Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Okay, we are on page 405 in this chapter called Priya, the Beloved. And this is text number 14. Were you going to say something, Ananya?
I wanted to say that was very beautiful and I tuned in and I really enjoyed that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said I just tuned in and I really enjoyed what I was hearing.
Please don't talk in the kitchen.
Yes.
Just listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also cooking, so my mind...
You don't, no, that is not why you're not hearing. It's because you're talking about unnecessary subject matters. So, vachovegam in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, no vachovegam in there.
Yes, but I was just saying that I liked what you had to say when I was here.
Good. That's lovely. You're always happy when you hear.
Oh, of course.
That's why I'm always giving you a hard time.
I appreciate it.
Haribol. So text number 14. Yasya prasada sanmona shanti bhaktyadi sadhanai pratyona sasvayam vobhut prasano vasavartyapi. We can only pray to satisfy him through our disciplines of silence, peace, and devotion. But being naturally satisfied with you, he has even submitted himself to your control. So Narada Muni is speaking to the Pandavas. Do you remember? The Pandavas? So remember that Hanuman saying, oh no, you go. The Pandavas have a friendly relationship with the Lord. I cannot be like that. That is not how I feel. So you go to see the Pandavas, and the Pandavas, Narada is saying to the Pandavas, we, meaning this great sages like Narada, Devarishi, Deva Rishi. So he's a rishi. He's a seer. Rishi means comes to see. He's a seer of the truth, but he's among the demigods, Devarishi. So Devarishi Narada, he's saying we can only pray to satisfy him through our disciplines of silence, meaning not mundane sound, peacefulness, not getting disturbed by mundane life, and devotion. But being naturally satisfied with you, he's saying to the Pandavas, he has even submitted himself to your control. Like a friend can control a friend. Hey man, do it. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that.
What is the difference between a rishi and a Vaishnava?
A rishi can be a Vaishnava, but a rishi is not necessarily a Vaishnava.
Because it means seer of the truth, right? So it means if truth, seer of Krishna, right?
There's many levels. Yeah, definitely. They're almost like research scholars, but they're researching into truth. But not everyone is on the same level of understanding, as we see in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So many levels of understanding are there. Beginning, as we were just reading in Upadeshamrita. Upadeshamrita. Guru Maharaj is going through this volume of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, beginning with the Karma Kanda Brahman, to the king in Puri, who's doing so many things, and then to Indra, to Brahma, to Shiva, to Hanuman, and now to the Pandavas. They're all devotees. But there's so much gradation even among the devotees. What to speak of the rishis? A rishi may not come to the plane of devotion.
Gradation is such a mysterious thing. It's very easy to forget that we have different gradation from consciousness.
Yeah. And that's the amazing thing about this knowledge. It's so fine. The jnanis, so-called jnani, they want to come to nothing. And the devotees are coming from, Guru Maharaj said, from chaos to cosmos. Full understanding of detail and systematic understanding of so many things. Very fine discrimination of one thing between. It's the opposite of Gyan. Just wipe it all away. Or see all these miraculous different gradations and systems. So it's, very wondrous. It's wondrous. And we're just coming to the shore of that. As, Krishnadas Kaviraj saying, Anantadev with his thousands of mouths constantly saying something new cannot describe one day of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Maha Prabhu. It's infinite. But we can only approach infinity in devotion. We can't just barge in and whatever in our in our mood of exploitation or in our mood of everything's nothing. We can't. It's not possible. So devotion is so wonder. What did I hear this morning? Oh, from Brahma Samhita. In the final verses of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita that we have, Krishna is saying, Prema Bhakti is so wonderful a thing that it can give me to you. So what is not included in Prema Bhakti? Everything is there. So we are students of Prema Bhakti. And it will take we can't do it like, this is something that takes our time and energy.
We come from Tatastha Shakti, right?
We are Tatastha Shakti. Huh?
We've never been in the divine plane.
You can never leave that plane. You're not going to fall down from that plane.
And then number 2, Vaishnavis and Srimad Mahaprabhu has came to give their remembrance for us to awaken or maybe cultivate something that we maybe never cultivated before, which is...
Yes, this is an interesting question too.
So are we awakening something that we've forgotten, or we're literally cultivating something completely, something that we've never...
It is the nature of the soul to love Krishna. But because we are tiny units of free will, we may choose not to do that. But when we do that, our real nature awakens. Then we will know who we are. It is our nature to love Him. That's the meaning of the word Bhagavan. But that is now in a potential state because it must be done through one's own will. love and free will cannot be separated from one another. So the state of just pure free will, that's tatastha. It's between this and this.
Pure free will.
Yeah, but this is our natural home, is with Krishna. That is normal for us, but we may choose not to. But it is natural for us. It is the nature of the soul. Now we're in a very unnatural situation.
Since we have heard from our gurus that there is no entrance in Vrindavan, in the divine plane, in the positive plane of consciousness, with an exploitative or renunciative type of consciousness.
Yeah.
So if we've never been in the Jai Maha Prabhu. If we've never been in that positive side, if we come from the between, from the marginal, how can we say that is our nature if we've never been there?
It's nature. Like a child being born, he's not doing anything, but there's so much potential. It's a potential. And it is an inherent potential. It is inherent in the soul.
It's a potential of the soul.
Yeah, and if we must get some experience, just like anyone who's come and lived in the temple for a while, he can experience, oh yes, this feels like my home. I'm learning something about myself that I didn't know. This feels right. It is truth, and it's something we recognize, even though we didn't know it before. But it is recognizable by us because we are souls. We are part of Krishna, part and parcel, one and different, one and an individual. So this is normal, natural for us. I could just give a gross example. When a child is born, he may grow up to completely be against every good thing that his parents are telling them, have no honor for them, and go off on his own and have a hellish life. I mean, we're taking it that, good parent, that is his... But if he will rectify himself and come home in a good mood, he may find, oh, what did I do? Now I feel home comfort. It's the nature of reality.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to have some experience. Not everything will come into our computer. Some experience will have to be there. And we have some experience of this wonderful life. And we're recognizing it even though it's new to us. We feel it. Is it not true?
Would you recommend an apprentice devotee like me to go out and preach when most of the things he's saying he has just heard them but not really realized them or experienced them himself?
You have some realization or you would not want to say it. Speak from your heart according to your own experience. And you do have something to share. And you do appreciate it. It doesn't mean that suddenly we're in Vrindavan. Whatever we have, we share. And that will increase. Mahaprabhu is very happy with that. And more realization. Action in knowledge. In the Gita, action in knowledge increases one's advancement in knowledge.
Action in knowledge. What does that mean?
Means
action in knowledge?
Action based on what we know and what we've heard. Then we give some action. That means sharing that. That will increase our advancement in understanding. Many things come. We cannot control what we will understand in the future. We're not in control of that. That's all coming down. Aroha, Panta, that is, gathering knowledge from this plane and trying to get better and better at it. And then there's Amnai, what's coming down. We are on the path of Amnai Tata. What is coming down, and we don't know what that's going to be. How those experiences will come, we don't know yet. But we're acting on the basis of what we know. And trying to be kind and a friend to others. I'm sorry.
Jai.
And don't forget one big instruction from Srila Saraswati Thakur. Every morning wake up and beat your mind with your shoe.
Wasn't that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur?
No, it's
Srila
Saraswati
Thakur.
Wake up and beat your mind with your shoe. Don't forget that part. And mind is a sneaky little bugger.
Wow. Interesting instruction.
Bugger's not a bad word here, but it's a very bad word in England. So
Sure.
Sorry if there's anyone from England.
What word?
Never mind. All right. You don't want to. So, all right. So should we continue here? It's already 9 o'clock. Huh?
One more paragraph.
Well, but this verse, even if we meditate on this verse, is a very good verse, and it did bring some question. I mean, what Narada has said to the Pandavas now. Narada is Devarshi. He's a rishi among the demigods. He's a son of Brahma. He has been taught pure devotion by this Brahma. And he is traveling around, distributing that to others. And yet he comes with so much humility to the Pandavas. And it's genuine humility. We can only pray to satisfy him through our disciplines of silence. What is silence? It means not speaking any mundane sound, not disturbing through mundanities, through mundane sound. Through peace, not becoming agitated by the environment, and devotion. We are meditating. We satisfy him through he's not only meditating, but these are the disciplines of the rishis. But being naturally satisfied with you, he's naturally satisfied with the hearts of the Pandavas. He has even submitted himself to your control. This is Narada's. Narada has reverence for the Lord. He is Srivas Thakur. Do you know that? Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni. He is more... He has many levels of moods, but in general, he is worshipping the Lord in a reverential mood. But there's much to Narada more, and he's our guru in this line, and he's teaching us so much through his divine words, and also this mood of full submission and reverence to the Lord. We can worship that very heartily. Okay, so, we did read Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Haribol. And that's a very important verse and example. And sometimes the mind is making such a big bunch of noise, especially about humility. That is not something the mind likes. It can like a show of humility. But real humility to the Lord, that is really not going to go over too well with this mental ego, right? So hearing this is very important and beautiful for us. It is like a shaft of light in the darkness of the mental world. Jai Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai, Sri Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Hari Bol. Don't forget that these words are light. They have potency. We are not subject to whatever the condition of the mind is. We have some other experience to be had through divine sound. The sound is very powerful. It is purifying. So when we hear every day, that is a very great thing for us. It's purifying our consciousness. Hari Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Shri Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Astatersa de Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Astatersa de Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Vakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Haribol. Jai Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshat Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshat Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakat Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribo.
Jai Shrimati Shri Lekha Didi Ki
Jai Gurudev Ki Jai. Haribol.
Jai. And good morning and Dandavat to all the beautiful devotees tuning in this morning. Kumkundi is with us this morning. She says, Jai Jai, all glories to morning class and all the devotees. Bhima Krishna Prabhu as always offering his Dandavat, Dandavat Prabhu.
Haribol.
Shama Malini Didi.
Oh.
She's saying Dandavat Didi to you.
Lovely.
Shanta Didi.
Hi, Santa.
Good morning, Dandavat. Kyo. And then Inner Tooth, which he told us his spiritual name, but I have forgotten his name. If you can tell us your spiritual name, it will be great, Inner Tooth. Thank you for tuning in this morning.
Bye.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Haribol.